Okay, we're going to talk about scatter plots. Scatter plots relate two sets of data with individual points on a graph. So we have a lot of ordered pairs. Sometimes our data points will look like they're forming a line. So we can draw a trend line through those points. We're going to look at an example. So if you're given this data, this XY table, you can plot those points. So 1, 4, 2, 10, and so forth. Notice these points appear to be creating that linear pattern. So we can draw that trend line through the center of the points. Ideally, we would like the same amount of points above our trend line and the same amount below. It's also okay if our trend line goes through a couple points. So there's a scatter plot. We have individual dots. I went ahead and drew a trend line in there. Our trend line we can find an equation for it. So I know that it goes through the point 629 and then it goes through the point 1, 4. So I'm going to take those points and I'm going to create an equation of a line. So review from earlier this year. Remember our slope formula is rise over run, or our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's 29 minus 4 over 6 over 6 minus 1. And that simplifies all the way down to 5. So our slope of that trend line is 5. But now I need to use my point slope formula in order to find the actual equation. So I could use the point 6, 29 or 1, 4. I'm going to use 1, 4 because they're smaller numbers. And I plug that into point slope with the slope that we just found. So y minus 4 equals 5 times x minus 1. Distribute here. Then you're going to add 4. You get y equals 5x minus 1. So this is the equation of that trend line that I had drawn on our previous graph. And a lot of times this trend line will be called line of best fit. So when you see line of best fit, it means the same thing as a trend line. We're also going to talk about something called correlation. So correlation just talks about the direction of the data. So we have positive correlation, and you can relate that to positive slope. And then both our x and our y values would be increasing. So it looks something like this. Could obviously be steeper, but it'll be in the positive direction. We also have negative correlation, so that is similar to negative slope, and our data values, one will be increasing while the other decreases. So here our x values continue to increase, but our y values are going down. So this is negative correlation. It looks like it has negative slope. And then we also have data that will have no correlation. The two variables won't be related at all, so they're just points all over the place.